On Halloween 2020, 19-year-old Livye Lewis was found shot dead in her car on the side of the road. Her ex-boyfriend was discovered nearby bloodied and disoriented.
October 31, 2020. Around 5 a.m., Livye Lewis was found irresponsible in her car on a road in Hemphill, Texas. She was dead. She had been shot behind the wheel with a rifle shot to the neck. Her ex-boyfriend, Matthew Edgar, was found nearby with blood on his clothes and his rifle beside him. To understand this story, we need to know who everyone in the story is. The victim, Livye Lewis, 19 years old, is the ex-girlfriend of Matthew Edgar. She recently graduated from high school. She is honest, kind, and hardworking, with ambitions of becoming a physician's assistant. Her ex-boyfriend, on the other hand, was not so honest. She was 19, and he was 24. They had a tumultuous relationship. Matthew kept many secrets from her and was generally a very manipulative and volatile person, becoming violently enraged at the smallest offense. Worst of all, he was married and had 2 kids. He was married to a girl his age named Montana Bockel. Livye was always a side piece. He would force her to communicate to him in secret or text as a way to keep this secret. Additionally, the 2 other parties in this story are Montana Bockel, Matthew's ex-wife and friend of Livye, and Bobby Ozen, someone who was holding a pre-Halloween party at the time of the murder. What is a 24-year-old man with a wife and kids doing with a 19-year-old girl? Legally speaking, there is nothing wrong. However, morally speaking, something about this doesn't smell right. If a 17-year was dating a 22-year-old, it would raise suspicion. Given the age difference and the secretive nature of Livye and Matthew's relationship, we could see a level of power imbalance in the relationship, along with the fact that Matthew was cheating on his wife with her friend. And given Matthew's impulsive and violent personality, it might be reasonable to say that this relationship bordered on being abusive, or was at the very least destructive to Livye, who was young and impressionable and likely didn't know any better. During the investigation of the crime, authorities were able to find the following pieces of evidence: text messages he sent out to his wife, physical evidence, and victim statements, along with crime scene evidence. On the night of the murder, Livye and Bockett attended a party being held by Bobby Ozen. She left the party early, and Bockett was starting to get worried because she had not messaged her after getting home. 3:34 a.m. Bockett asked her husband if Livye was fine. However, Matthew responded to her bluntly, "Dead." Witnesses at the party reported that Edgar had come to the party and gotten enraged upon learning that Livye was spending the night with someone else. In anger, he beat his wife and kicked her car before leaving the party. This wasn't unusual behavior from him. Physical evidence found at the scene shows that Edgar's clothes, along with his rifle, and found near the crime scene, and that he was completely unharmed. This suggested that there was no struggle and that this was a one-sided execution. This is supported by the body found in the car. Livye's body was found sitting with her legs crossed. This indicated that she was not afraid and was likely comfortable being in her situation where she was speaking with Edgar. October 30th, 2020. Livye Lewis attends a pre-Halloween party with friends in Hemphill, Texas. The night is festive, filled with costumes, laughter, and the typical excitement of a Halloween celebration. Around 2:30 a.m. As the party winds down, Livye and her close friend Montana Bockel are among the last attendees preparing to leave. The atmosphere turns quieter, with most guests having already gone home. At the same time, Matthew Edgar, Livye's ex-boyfriend, unexpectedly returns to the party. Tensions escalate when Edgar learns that Livye plans to spend the night with a friend rather than him. Witnesses later reported that Edgar appeared agitated and angry during his return to the gathering. Around 2:30 a.m., October 31st, 2020, Matthew Edgar, Livye's ex-boyfriend, returns to the party and becomes enraged upon learning Livye is spending the night with a friend. Around 3:30 a.m., October 31st, 2020, Edgar attacks Bockel and kicks her car. Around 3:34 a.m., October 31st, 2020, Bockel texts Edgar, asking where Livye is. Edgar responds, "Dead." Around 3:30 to 5 a.m., October 31st, 2020, Livye is found shot dead in her car on the side of a road in Hemp Hill, Texas. Edgar is found nearby, in a fetal position behind her car, with his rifle. October 31st, 2020. Edgar is taken to the hospital and questioned by police. December 16th, 2021. Livye's mother confronts Edgar in a convenience store, accusing him of her daughter's murder. Early 2023. Legal proceedings conclude, and Edgar is charged with the murder of Livye Lewis. What we know about the situation is this. Livye went to apathy. Matthew got angry, beat his wife, and then waited for Livye to get in her car, where they either had a confrontation or he shot her without saying anything. In my opinion, Livye likely invited Matthew into her car with the expectation of a calm conversation. Perhaps she hoped to reconcile, or at the very least, discuss their relationship. However, her expectations were tragically shattered. Matthew, driven by a darker intent, likely shot her in the back of the neck, demonstrating a premeditated and violent act. In a state of panic, Matthew Edgar stumbled out of the car and appeared frozen, unable to comprehend his actions. It's possible he experienced a dissociative episode, effectively blocking out the traumatic event from his conscious memory. He later found himself in the hospital, facing questioning by police. Edgar claimed to have no recollection of the events leading up to Livye Lewis's murder. He stated that the last thing he remembered was standing on someone's porch, and when questioned about how he ended up behind the car, he professed complete ignorance. His demeanor suggested a state of profound shock and disbelief, likely a result of the traumatic nature of his actions. The police were skeptical of his account given that he had reasons to lie about what had happened. However, it was clear that Matthew's manipulative nature was showing through. Given that he had sent a message to Bucket confessing to what he did, we know that he is the murderer. This is in addition to the fact that it shows that he was completely lucid during the murder. This means that he's lying about not knowing who killed Livye and the timeline of events, or that he had gone into a trauma response to his actions resulting in him forgetting everything he had done. However, I strongly lean towards the idea that he was lying. The reason for this is that it's clear that he has a habit of lying, as suggested by the fact that he was cheating on his wife with Livye. The tragic murder of Livye Lewis underscores the devastating consequences of domestic abuse and the importance of recognizing and addressing unhealthy relationships. Edgar's actions, fueled by jealousy and a history of manipulative and volatile behavior, highlight the dangers of unchecked anger and the potential for violence within relationships. The power imbalance in their relationship, exacerbated by the age difference and the secretive nature of their affair, likely contributed to Livye's vulnerability. This case serves as a stark reminder that domestic abuse can manifest in various forms, including emotional, psychological, and physical. It's crucial to recognize the signs of abuse, such as controlling behavior, isolation, and threats, and to seek help for oneself or for someone you suspect is in an abusive relationship.